everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. This week's video we're going to be making one of those viral bead plants. I'll put in some pictures here. As soon as I saw it on my TikTok, I knew that I had to make one. So I went out and I bought a whole bunch of different beads. These are just some of them. Not all of them are glass beads or see-through that like reflect the light. Like this one looks like it would do a good job of reflecting the light. So it's not going to be a sun catcher type thing like a lot of people have made theirs. It's just going to be a plant that I can't kill because I cannot keep real plants alive. So without further ado, let's get into making a bead plant of our own. I just filmed an entire clip, or so I thought, about me talking about these beads. Turns out I didn't actually hit play, so I'll talk about them again, and this time you'll actually be able to hear them. So this felt like a lot more beads when I was buying them. It's also super expensive because not all of these are like glass beads or seed beads. Some of them are actually semi-precious stones. So like this one says semi-precious. It's dyed aventurine. This one is dyed howlite beads, so on and so forth. So like I said earlier, not all of them are going to reflect the light like glass beads will, or quartz beads, I think is what some of these are. Nope, crystal beads. Anyways, but I liked the different colors and the different textures, and that was what was more important to me. So that's why I picked the beads that I did, and also ones like this that have this cool little iridescent type shine to them I thought would also be kind of nice. Also to the right here, I have this craft wire stem. That's what it's called, from the dollar store. My options were black or like a really fake green color, so I figured it would be better to go with the black to kind of mimic our true stem than a really bright kind of obnoxious green color. So that's what I'm going to be stringing the beads onto. I will find a pot to put this in at some point. That's not my main concern right now. So I think I'm going to organize these by color and size. I have a bunch of bowls from when I did my girl with the pearl earring perler bead craft, so I might organize them into here. And I also have a whole bunch of little itty bitty plastic bags from, I don't know, forever ago that I've just been slowly going through, so I might organize them into there as well. And that's it. That's about it. Yeah, so without further ado, let's keep going. Turns out I don't have any pliers, so I'm gonna try and bend the wire using my tweezers, and hopefully that will work. I've organized all my beads. I poured out the 2 little containers into little dishes, and I think I'm just gonna go for it. A lot of the pictures that I've found online, people have like all of the same kind of bead in a row, or they'll like alternate a big one and then a small one and then a big one, keep going like that. So I'm just gonna play around and see what happens. So bending it with the tweezers is not gonna work. I can't get it to like be tight enough, so I might have to go out and get a pair of like jewelry pliers, jewelry forceps, whatever you want to call them. This is otherwise very flexible wire, just maybe not for making a little loop on the end. So okay, we'll see what happens. All right, I found a big pair of pliers in my basement, and I managed to, I don't even know if this will focus, sort of make a little hook on the end. So that's good enough for me, and I'm going to start stringing my beads along this wire now. Okay, so I've made this strand just for proof of concept. I time-lapsed a little bit of it, and I'm going to take you through, I'm going to do this again, but with different beads, and take you through kind of my decision-making process. The wire will make it so that I can pose these, which I think will be really cool. I don't know how long I want them to be, so I'm just going to leave it as is. Obviously, I have a lot of wire to work with. I don't want it to like, you know, spill all over the place though, so I am just going to put it off to the side. And hope for the best. There's already beads, perler beads, regular old beads all over my floor, so I'm gonna be finding them for years to come. So anyways, this was proof of concept. I think it's working out really nicely, and I will take you through how we got there. Because I have 150 of these wires, I'm not really concerned about, you know, cutting the length and then making sure that I'm conserving them. That's why each little plant strand is going to have its own little wire. The little black coating on these wires kind of wants to come off, which I don't love. Makes it a little messy. This is also really challenging to do without needle nose pliers. So if you plan on doing this yourself, maybe invest in a pair of those. Like I said, each one is going to get their own because I have 150 of them. So anyways, once you have your little knot, you're good to start. I'm just going to fold this in half so that it's, you know, going to stay in frame. What I'm going to use for this next little strand is the dyed quartz 8mm ones, and the also dyed quartz, but 4mm. And then probably also these guys in here. Excuse me, don't know what's going on there. I'm gonna try and stick with the, I guess maybe the lighter ones kind of at the end. I don't really want it to be like an ombre, but whatever. So we're gonna start with one big bead at the bottom, and then we're gonna go ahead and put on a small bead. I also have some options in here. Like, I wonder, what if I use these little, like, that looks a lot like that one. Maybe not that one then. There's like clear yellow ones, which I think might be a nice little contrast. I'm gonna go ahead and put that one on. And then I'll put one of these beads on. Oh, this one's too stuck together. Not that one then. Okay. This is really finicky work. Not for the faint of heart. Now that we've got 3 beads on there, you can kind of see where this is going here. I'm going to put a darker, large bead on next. That's a good difference in color here. Okay, and then why don't we try one of these ones? And if I don't like it, I'll just take it off. Ooh, I do like that. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and put one of these light green beads on. Just so that we're kind of bringing all the colors together, I guess. And then maybe I'll put another one of these ones on. I'm not super concerned with how many beads are in between, like how many small ones are in between each large one, or, you know, if it's the same number in between each of these. I want to put this one on next because it's kind of a cool color. Because it's, you know, in nature, nothing is actually perfect. So we're going to do this, and maybe I'll only put one bead in between, but I'll make it one of these lighter ones that like mimics maybe that one. Yeah, let's do that. I'll put another light one of these on. How do I feel about this? I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest with you. This is also why I'm not closing the ends off once I add a bunch of beads to it, because I don't want, in case I don't like it, I want to be able to go back and change it. So far, this is maybe not what I thought it was going to be. I do kind of like that, though. I don't know if we put another one of these clear yellow ones on. Okay. Go back to this one. This is a little bit unwieldy also, just with how flexible the wire is. And this color. Sure, why not? Okay, now that's pretty long, so I'm going to put that one aside now. Actually, let me just pick up our other one. So now we have 2 strands that are very similar in length, actually. And now we keep going and keep making more. It is voiceover time. So I apologize for this being really zoomed in right now and kind of hard to see. I forgot that when I switched it to time lapse from regular video, it went back to being ×1 instead of 0.5 because I've been filming on 0.5. Anyways, so for the next few videos, I just went through the motion of doing a big bead and then a couple small beads, so on and so forth, and trying to match the different sizes of beads with the different colors that I needed. So with this howlite, because it's a slightly more bluish green, I chose smaller beads that were also slightly more bluish green. And then for some of them, I did do a repeating pattern, and others I just kind of mixed it up based on whether or not I wanted a little bit of orange in there. I will say though that the one that I took you through with the dyed quartz beads that were 8mm, I did end up ripping out, tearing apart, whatever you want to call it, and making it into one that only had light beads and then one that had the dark and medium beads. And I just found that I like that better, but I did keep the same sort of pattern with the middle beads in between them. So I didn't totally change it up, but it was good for me to kind of talk through that with you guys. And I will be transparent that I didn't end up liking it, so I did fix it. But anyways, that's pretty much it for stringing these beads up. Okay, now that I've experimented with all of the different kinds of beads that I have, and these are some of the patterns that I've come up with, I'm gonna go ahead and make a whole bunch more of these because obviously this is not enough for a plant. Even if we go like this, that's, you know, maybe a quarter of what we'll need. So I'm gonna like remake a few of my favorite ones. I still don't know how I feel about like this one here, so we'll leave that one for now, but I love the other ones. So I'm gonna make some more of those in varying lengths, and I'll bring you back once I've got all of those ones finished. Okay, we're not going to talk about the disaster that is this part of my desk, but I've made a whole bunch more of these little bead things. And I know that I have a terracotta pot lying around, but I also remembered that I have this fake plant that I bought from the dollar store. And I really like this like cement. I don't know if it's real cement. It feels a little bit like a plant. So I went ahead and I ripped out the fake plant part, and to my surprise, there's styrofoam in there with like little fake grass. So I'm going to save this fake plant for some other craft, and I'm going to go ahead and start arranging my beads into this little styrofoam thing here. Like most pliers, they have a wire cutter built into them, so I'm just going to estimate and then chop off part of this wire. And then I guess I'm just gonna stick it in and see what happens. Okay, so maybe the wire can be a little bit shorter, but that's kind of fun. This is a little silly with it just standing straight up in the air, but I'm gonna keep poking these in, alternating between all my different stems here, and then we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what the plant looks like right now. Little bear still in the center is kind of what it looks like. And these are absolutely wild. So I'm gonna make a couple more strands of the beads that I have left over and just keep adding into the center, and hopefully I'll end up with a more full looking plant. But I mean, hold up, like that's not that bad. So let's make a couple more. All right, this is the plant. This is all I have left for beads, so I did a pretty good job getting through them. I'm gonna see, it's a little overcast, but I'm gonna see if I can maybe get like some natural sunlight to make it really sparkle, and I'll take one last video. And here's the final result. I did have to voice over this because the kids in my neighborhood were literally screaming at this point in time, but I love this. It turned out so good in my opinion. I really enjoy it, and you can see it sparkle in this clip. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to my channel. I post new videos twice a month. I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll see you all in the next video.